Now at 10, Pittsburgh City Commissioners discuss raising the city's fair market rent rate, what that could mean for you. Plus,
a Missouri man has died after a fall during a hike at the Buffalo National River in Arkansas. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with the dangers of group hikes as well as hiking safety tips.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Pittsburgh City Commissioners met today to discuss a number of things, including the fair market rent rate. This is KOAM News at 10. That rate is set by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development based on the cost to rent a moderately priced dwelling in a housing market. As rent has risen in the area, so has the FMR rate. That impacts how much people could have to pay while using low-income housing vouchers. Commissioners today approved a plan to increase the payment standard, which allows for higher rents under the voucher program.
It'll really open up opportunities for those that need the program, and the landlords in town who have had to increase their rent due to various price increases, materials, and different things like that.
The commission also approved a recommendation to allocate $30,000 to Blue Spoon Properties to renovate a North Broadway property and open a restaurant there.
We are actually quite excited about it. So downstairs we'll have a 900 square foot catering kitchen. I also have a 900 square foot storefront, and it will also house 3 Airbnb apartments that we plan to rent out as soon as they are finished.
Doug Hattie joins us now with a first look at the weather.
Well, it turned out to be another warm and very muggy day across the region. Temperatures mid-80s for highs. We only started at 76. We just didn't really drop off during the overnight hours. So our overnight low last night was higher than our average high for this time of the year. So it's a little warm. The clouds kind of capped us off into the mid-80s for us today, and we still have partly cloudy skies out there. Thunderstorms back to our south and to our west. These are actually working toward us. I think they're really going to fall apart once they hit that I-35 corridor. So we're mainly just going to get the clouds from those showers and thunderstorms. Temps still sitting mid-70s. We'll pull back right around 70 a little bit later on tonight. The southerly wind's not quite as strong, so it won't keep our temperatures up as much as we go through the overnight hours, but still starting at 70, 75 by 10, 83 by noon. A little hotter, high of 88. Thunderstorms increase. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
See you then. A new memorial in Carthage is honoring fallen police officers across the county. Jasper County Sheriff Randy Kaiser came up with the idea for a fallen officers memorial a year ago. Today, the idea was realized in a new wall tile memorial featuring photos of fallen officers across Jasper County. A memorial service was held at the courthouse to honor the fallen and showcase the new display.
It's a profession that men and women get into knowing what the risks are, and unfortunately some of those people have paid the ultimate price. And I think that we've seen that just very recently, and I think that needs to be remembered and that needs to be commemorated.
Sheriff Kaiser says he plans to make this an annual event. A Springfield, Missouri man is dead after a fall during a hike at Buffalo National River in Arkansas. According to the Newton County, Arkansas Sheriff, the victim, identified as Brad Lee Thomas, was in a group led by a man in Arkansas operating a guide service without a license or insurance. It was not the first incident that tour guide had been involved in recently. After last weekend's hiking accident, people might be having more concerns about hiking safety and how to avoid something similar happening to them. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with an expert with the Missouri Department of Conservation and has more on safety tips for hikers.
Following a tragic hiking accident in Arkansas on Saturday, the Missouri Department of Conservation has some tips to avoid being in a similar situation.
There are certified guides, trail guides, hiking guides out there. If you're looking to find one, the best thing to do is probably go to social media and maybe even do a Google search on who is out there, and then maybe follow it up with social media, trying to get people's opinion, because some guide services are going to be better than others.
Tim Smith with the Shoal Creek Conservation Education Center suggests checking with the Better Business Bureau to ensure the tour guide leading the hike is legit.
There are some people who are probably running guide services that are not registered or not legal, so to speak. I know National Park Services, they have some credentials you have to meet to be a guide service on their property.
But even more important, make sure that the hike you're going on fits within your skill set.
If you're going to an area, do some research on that area. Figure out where that area is, figure out where you're going, what trail you're going on, what the challenges of that trail is going to be, and know what your limits are.
During an emergency, it's important to have a plan ahead of time and stay calm.
The best thing to do in case of emergency is stay calm. Try to stay as calm as you can. Depending on where you're at, you may or may not have cell phone service. So that's part of another reason you need to do some research on where you're going, what the trail is that you're going to be going on is like, and what you might encounter on it.
And if you're hiking alone or with a tour group, make sure to let people know where you're going ahead of time. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Smith says it's important to always have an emergency plan in place when going on a hike or any similar outdoor activity. The Missouri House has passed a new congressional redistricting plan that could be put in place for this year's elections. The state Senate still needs to approve that plan before Friday's deadline to pass the legislation. The proposed voting districts are expected to continue Republicans' current 6-2 advantage over Democrats in the state's U.S. House delegation. Missouri is one of the last states still struggling to enact a congressional redistricting plan based on the 2020 census. Missouri senators passed a bill requiring voters to show photo identification at the polls. The primary bill would require voters to show government-issued photo identification to cast ballots. Voters who don't bring valid IDs could cast provisional ballots. The bill would also allow voters to cast ballots up to 2 weeks prior to an election for any reason. Currently, voters need to cite an excuse for why they won't be able to vote in person on Election Day. The Missouri Department of Conservation has released statistics from the state's turkey hunting season. In total, more than 36,000 birds were harvested. Youth hunters harvested nearly 3,000 of them, and adults got more than 33,000. Officials say this year's harvest was up 5% from last year, but still 7% lower than the average. Coming up, former President Trump has a chance to lose his Twitter ban. We're going to tell you how. Plus, how the western U.S. is affected by severe water shortages. News for you now. Joplin police have arrested a suspect in yesterday's robbery at Great Southern Bank, South Rangeline. Authorities arrested Vincent Gebson from Anderson, Missouri. He's charged with robbery by force or violence. Guess who could be headed back to the Twitterverse? Former President Donald Trump. Elon Musk here says he'll reverse Twitter's permanent ban of Donald Trump if the Tesla CEO follows through with his plan to buy the social media company. Musk says permanent bans of Twitter accounts should be rare and reserved for accounts that are scams or automated bots. The drought situation in the West is becoming dire. Residents are being asked to conserve water, and now strict rules are going into effect in several communities. It's the same story all across the Southwest, where 40 million people and the $5 billion agricultural industry rely on the Colorado River for their water supply. But that river's flow is restricted, impacting everything from drinking water to electricity. Reporter Daniel Bacchus has more now from Los Angeles.
The water situation in the West continues to deteriorate.
This is really an indication that Mother Nature is reminding us that we are in a world with climate change. It's here, and we need to start adapting to it.
This news comes as California's two largest reservoirs are at critically low levels. Lake Oroville in Northern California is at 55% capacity. Shasta Lake is below 50%, and the situation is severe across the Southwest. Nevada's Lake Mead, the nation's largest reservoir, has dropped 150 feet since 2000. For the first time, a water intake pipe that provides water to Las Vegas has broken the surface, prompting officials to build a new pipe even deeper. Low water levels could lead to an energy crisis. Last week, the federal government announced it will keep hundreds of billions of gallons of Colorado River water inside Utah and Arizona's Lake Powell, so the Glen Canyon Dam can continue to produce hydroelectric power. But that means cuts in the water supply to southwestern states and Mexico. Starting June 1st, outdoor watering in 3 Southern California counties will be limited to just once a week, affecting 6 million homes. In the city of Los Angeles, twice a week. LA is also ramping up patrols to make sure people are not wasting water.
We will come in and help people comply. This isn't about giving your neighbor a fine.
Some communities are installing water reduction devices to customers with multiple violations.
The water coming out of your faucet is going to come out slower. When you have a shower on, it's going to come out more like a trickle.
The lack of water pressure will also prevent homeowners from using lawn sprinklers. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
One county in the San Francisco Bay Area is considering fining people as much as $500 if they waste water. A little bit later, how a local school district is getting ready for summer school next year.
Plus, the heat sticks around, but also some thunderstorm chances. We'll look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a warm, humid day once again for us today. Mid-80s for afternoon highs. Thunderstorms start to creep back in by Friday, and then chances kind of linger into the weekend and also next week, and that's when severe weather chances start to increase as well. When you start to get this warm, the atmosphere gets unstable, and it doesn't take much to get severe weather. So almost anytime we have a thunderstorm chance, we have a chance for severe weather from this point on over the next couple months. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast month-long blog, KOAM. newsnow.com. Looks good. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, the Indigo's just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Temperatures, they've been warm. Upper 80s today. We only dropped mid-70s, and then we warmed right back up into the mid-80s for highs today. Just a smidge cooler due to the cloud cover that we had across the region. Still sitting into the mid-70s. Southerly winds dying down just a little bit. So we're going to drop off a little bit more tonight because those south winds are going to be as strong, not keeping those temperatures up into the mid-70s. Still going to be mild as we only drop back right around 70 for an overnight low. Few clouds kind of sneaking in and out. In general, partly cloudy skies for us tonight. Thunderstorms out to our south and to our west. They are moving east, northeast. You can see these across the panhandles, Oklahoma and Texas. They're going to make it to about the I-35 corridor and then collapse. We can't rule out some of our western counties get a random storm later on tonight, but we're mainly just going to see the clouds from these showers and thunderstorms. You can see this weak wave right across the panhandles, and it's going to lift. You can follow the arrows, central Kansas into parts of Nebraska, so that's where most of the energy will go. So let's go ahead and break it down for you tonight. In and out of the clouds, we drop back near 70. Let's go through the day tomorrow. We warm through the 70s into the 80s. We'll stop at about 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Upper 80s. Here's your forecast. We'll start at about 70, 83 by noon, high temp of 88. Southerly winds not near as strong at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, more thunderstorms to the west. So we get some clouds in here, partly cloudy skies. We drop back near 70. As we go into Thursday, just like tomorrow, partly sunny, high temps into the upper 80s. Plus, we're going to have the humidity, so this means heat indices back into lower 90s once again by the time we head into Wednesday. But the next 2 days mainly dry. However, thunderstorm chances will start to increase late Thursday into Friday morning, and then a chance again late Friday into Friday night. We get a front that wants to sink in and just kind of hang out. Give or take 100 miles of us, but just hang out through the weekend. So at least low chances for thunderstorms as we go into the weekend, and these stick around as we go into early next week as well. Now the next couple days, hot and humid. Upper 80s, mid 80s into the weekend, but look at the thunderstorm chances starting to increase. So low chances, but they're out there. But again, this time of year, if we get thunderstorms, we're going to have threats for severe weather. So we at least have low threats Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, really Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. A little bit better next Thursday, and then kind of increasing again right after the 22nd. 22nd, 23rd, 24th. So we do need to watch the next couple weeks for sure.
No doubt you and the weather team will be doing that for us as well.
Absolutely.
As school year comes to an end, summer school comes right around the corner. The McDonald County School District is using a summer school program titled Summer Journey. The goal is to prepare students for the upcoming school year, and that includes giving supplies. Supplies will be delivered to schools in the district on Thursday.
For many of the classes that they're allowed to take for credit during the school year too. So you can take your art credit, your foreign language, music, drama, PE. We also have core credit classes that you might want to take if you're really into science. For example, you might want to take the forensic science or the microbiology class.
Summer school in McDonald County begins June 1st and runs through June 29th. You can see a full list of what's included in the new program on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Sports, straight ahead.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas are in the Final Four in the MIAA Conference Tournament. The Gorillas hit the road to Edmond, Oklahoma on Thursday, where they will face Northeastern State in the semifinals. Pitt State is coming off a first-round series win over rival Missouri Southern. It was a bit of an up-and-down weekend. The Gorillas lost Game 1, then overcame a 4-run deficit in Game 2 and an 8-run deficit to win Game 3. It was one they'll remember, but for now, they got to put it behind them and turn their attention to Northeastern State.
That's the best games that I've probably been a part of my whole life, and you know, it was a time that you got to understand that we got to move on and just learn from what we did this weekend and get better. But it was an exciting moment, and now we just kind of got to take a step back and go, okay, reevaluate everything that we've done this last weekend and get better for this next weekend.
Tonight is semifinal night at the Class 1 District 6 softball tournament in Liberal. After a first-round bye, the top-seeded Jasper Eagles are up first tonight, facing Northeast Vernon County. Now, the winner of this one will play for a district title tomorrow night. Starting the bottom of the first, Taylor Hines with a home run over the fence and right. 2-run shot, Jasper on top early. Next, it's Olivia Doom getting one by the shortstop. 2 will score on that. Eagles extend their lead. Now, this one was mostly Jasper. Courtney Spear here grounds to short. The throw to first gets away. Emmy Bass comes home to score. Jasper rolls by Northeast Vernon County in this one 12-2. Other side of the bracket is the hometown Bulldogs and the Osceola Indians. Starting in the bottom of the 6th, it's Elena Lanier yanking this one into the left field corner. That brings home 2 for Liberal. Bulldogs out in front. Now just after that, it's Kyla Porter sends in a laser out to left. Goes off the fence. Lanier comes home to make it 8-1 Bulldogs. Here come the Indians. Top of the 7th. They would rally all the way back. Throw to third gets into left. Natalie Roth comes home, and just like that, the game is tied up. So bottom of the 7th, Liberal with a chance to win it. Kate Hatfield comes through with a hit to center. Taylor Swarn scores. And that's it. Walk-off hit for Kate Hatfield puts Liberal in the district championship 10-9. In Mount Vernon, it's championship night at the Class 2 District 6 tournament. Top-seeded Diamond Wildcats face Pierce City for the district title. Diamond winning 15-5 in 5 innings to make it back-to-back district titles. Wildcats now move on to the state quarterfinals next week. To Southeast Kansas now, regular season finale for the Girard Trojans on the road against Colgan. Both pitchers good early. Ava Wilson strikeout to end the top of the 2nd. Bottom of the inning, Lexi Robinson does the same for Girard. Game is scoreless. Now more from Robinson. She strikes out 7 today. This one's scoreless until the 4th. Then in the 4th, bases loaded for Emmeline Sinnecott. Really high, but also really far. Clears the fence and left for the grand slam. Girard gets by Colgan in a shutout tonight, 7-0. Well, Pittsburgh State's Trace Mosby won the MIAA heptathlon title over the weekend at Emporia State. Now for Mosby, it's her first outdoor heptathlon title in her decorated PSU career. The most impressive part, though, is how she did it. Mosby had not competed or even practiced this outdoor season leading up to the conference championships after a stress fracture in her foot put her in a walking boot for 6 weeks.
In the boot, obviously your hips are a little lopsided, so I get out of it and I'm like, my foot feels great, but now my back and my hip are hurting, so what do we do about that? So that kind of threw a wrench in it as well. We had to push back training even more. I was supposed to be running a couple weeks before conference, and then it was down to a couple days before, trying to loosen up that back.
There was a lot of unknowns. that we had no idea how the foot was going to feel, how the body's going to feel. I mean, she hadn't done anything physically. And so we really had to manage, one, physically, to make sure she could get through it and be smart about it, and she was all for it. And then had to manage her emotions up and down, because there's some events that were a struggle. We had to figure out how to do it again.
You can check out our full story with Mosby on the sports page at KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Robert Seltzer Jr. served in the U.S. Air Force from 1982 to 2001. His hometown, Nevada, Missouri, and we salute Technical Sergeant Robert Seltzer Jr., a four-state hero. You know, you can learn about lots of other heroes from all across this area, no doubt some of them from your own hometown. You can also submit a hero of your own anytime you like. It's very simple. You just go to our website and you click on the link, KOAMnewsnow.com. NASA could soon be sending pictures of naked humans to aliens. Yeah, you heard that right. Researchers have put forward a proposal for a message to be transmitted from Earth out into other parts of the Milky Way in hopes that extraterrestrials will find it. The message plan includes representations of DNA, a map of our solar system, and illustrations of nude humans, one male, one female. The message ends with an invitation for extraterrestrials to respond using their own technology, whatever that might be.
Cool.
Of course, by the time, we get the call back, we'll be long gone. Probably.
Yeah,
Talking
probably.
about distant future, perhaps. The not so distant future things look pretty hot around here.
They do. Kind of heating up a bit the next couple days. Upper 80s. The humidity sticks around. The wind gets a little bit better, which is good. Scattered thunderstorms start to increase on Friday, and we will have a severe threat returning as well.
Final sports next.
Just want to give it a shout out to Pittsburgh High School baseball. They earned this SEK League Championship tonight.
Congratulations. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.